right, Karen here at Rafa Farms. Welcome back for part 2 of our story about how we got started. So in the last video I finished up about how we started off with goats. So we were in Minnetonka, we got 2 goats. We chose Lucy and Tootie. Tootie was a 5-week-old baby that was bottle fed, so she was pretty tame, so we started with those 2. We set about putting together a spot for the goats. We had a second garage in Minnetonka. We took a little corner of it and made a stall. I will never forget Sarah hauling lumber back there. We built it out of wood pellets and we hauled all of that back and built this thing. I have pictures of Sarah screwing it together. And then we got our initial bales of hay, which I had, it was a time where Sarah went from being this kid that we were, kind of protecting to this kid who decided she was going to be a farmer. So she carried these heavy bales of hay and put them in a wagon and hauled them back to our barn in Minnetonka, which is just a garage. But we got it all set up. We brought our 2 goats home and we went about learning how to be goat owners. It was, I believe, February, but it could have been early March. But we got these goats home and it was really cold out. So the first initial couple of days of milking Lucy took a very long time. I remember it being 45 minutes, and Sarah and I sat out in the cold taking turns for 45 minutes and we froze. So after a couple of days we decided to bring her into the house, and then also Tootie would come in and we milked her in a really nice home. It was, just kind of comical, but I don't handle cold well, so it was a pretty good compromise. After a few months, we had to make a decision about whether we wanted to continue with milk, so we had to get them pregnant again. So we went out for a date with a buck. Sarah was, I believe, 13 then, and I will never forget her saying to me, in the future we're going to get our own buck and they're going to have a wedding. Yeah. So we had pregnant goats eventually, and then we had to make a decision because in Minnetonka we didn't have enough land. We were living in just a suburban city, and we had to figure out what we were going to do long term. My father passed away. I inherited a little bit of money and we were able to move to acreage with that. So we decided to go ahead and we put our house on the market and we found the farm that we are at now in Greenfield and made the move. We had been boarding dogs for a long time. When we moved out to the country, we lost a substantial amount of our dog boarding income. I was really exhausted from the move, working hours and hours every day. And I was in this pasture one day. My then husband, I'm divorced now, but my then husband was about to quit another job, and there was a long history of that, and I was very angry. Looking back on my journaling, I was working like 18 hours a day, setting up a new home, setting up a new farm and all this stuff, and I was really very, very tired. So I had this angry conversation with God, and I basically said, you have promised to be our provider, and I need you to be my husband, and I need you to be Sarah's father, and I need you to take care of us, and we need a better income source, a more stable income source. And then I went about my day, and about a week went by and our goat milk got so goaty that nobody could drink it. It was really kind of gross, and I remember having 8 gallons in my fridge. And I was like, okay, how does this solve anything, God? Because what little bit of income I had is now gone. So I Googled what to do with goaty goat milk, and Google told me to make soap. and I found a recipe and I made a batch of soap. You know, you can use molds and whatever, but I didn't want to spend any money that I didn't have. I lined a cardboard box with wax paper and I made a batch of goat milk soap, my first ever batch of goat milk soap. I believe it was jasmine. I used some essential oil that I had on hand and I made soap. And I poured it in the box and I waited a couple of days and I took the box apart and I pulled the wax paper, which ripped into tiny pieces, off of the soap. And I cut it and I put it on a tray or something to dry. You cure it for at least a month. So I cured it for a good month. That was in 2018. So the goats are starting to make noise. I waited a month and I started giving it away to family and friends. And I had a niece who came at me and said, Karen, this is amazing. I haven't been able to wear makeup for a very long time because I couldn't wash my face. I break out if I don't take it off and I break out if I wash my face. So she was able to wash her face for the first time ever, which meant she could wear makeup again. And then I had a friend who said his eczema went away, and there were just all these stories, and person after person said, you need to sell this. And it was just so out of my comfort zone that I was like, I don't feel good about that. Well, I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching part 2 of our story, and check back for more. So, and if you don't, oh my gosh, Sarah would kill me if I didn't say this, but if you're not already following us on Instagram, we are getting really close to 1,000 followers. So please do that. And we are going to do some super fun giveaway when we reach 1,000 followers. So, all right, thanks.